Mega Man 2 is a good sequel. It does what any good sequel should do: find problems in the original game and get rid of it. It succeeds in doing that, but not all the issues were fixed, and I'd like to talk about it. Before we get started, I'd like to show you this graph showing how many of my viewers are subscribed. It looks a little skewed to one side, right? So if you could scroll down and subscribe, that'd be great. It gets my videos out to more people and it motivates me to create more content. Mega Man 2 released in 1988, a little more than a full year after Mega Man 1. Our story takes place about a year after the first Mega Man. After Wily's defeat, he decided to create 8 Robot Masters of his own to cause havoc and take down Mega Man. Mega Man defeats the 8 robots and heads towards the first Wily castle. He defeats the second Wily machine and then defeats an alien hologram. Wily is defeated as he begs for mercy, and Mega Man walks back home. The graphics and artwork have improved somewhat compared to the first game. The big thing that stood out for me is that we've got actual backgrounds now. Look at Metal Man's stage and compare it to something like Bomb Man's stage. We have an actual background, not just solid colors. Besides that, things look roughly the same to me, and the game still looks good for an NES game. One thing this game has above its predecessor is its length. Mega Man 1 had 6 Robot Master stages and 4 castle stages, while 2 has 8 Robot Master stages and 6 castle stages. But one thing this game does worse than 1 would be the weakness chain. If you remember, the first game had a rock, paper, scissors weakness chain, where you would play a stage, get the weapon, go to the next stage, get that weapon, and so on and so forth. Mega Man 2 does something similar, but the chain is broken by the fact that Metal Man is weak to his own weapon, and the fact that he, Quick Man, and Flash Man all have 2 weaknesses for some reason. So there isn't a rock, paper, scissors chain, it's just a straight line for the weakness chain. However, one thing I like about this game is how it handles non-boss weapons. In Mega Man 1, the only non-boss weapon was the Magnet Beam, which allowed you to create platforms to jump on. Now, there are 3 non-boss weapons, creatively named Item 1, Item 2, and Item 3. Item 1 creates platforms to stand on, Item 2 is a rocket that flies forward, and Item 3 is just like Item 1, but it sticks to walls. Overall, I like these weapons. They have some good platforming capabilities, and they fit in with the other weapons just fine. To get to the actually new weapons, I'd say these weapons are in a similar, if not identical, boat to Mega Man 1's weapons. We've got a few weapons here that have some actual combat use, but most are useless besides a few situations. The first weapon you'll likely get is the Metal Blade. It's easily the best weapon, as it fires in 8 directions, it's big, and it consumes ammo efficiently. Bubble Lead was the one I got next, and it's a bubble that falls to the floor and is affected by gravity. It doesn't do much damage, and since it falls to the floor and is affected by gravity, there aren't many situations to use it. Well, there is one, but I'll get to it. The next one I got is Leaf Shield. It creates a shield of leaves around it, but as soon as you move, the leaves disperse in that direction. It's pretty useless as you have to stay still to use it. Air Shooter is next, and this one is actually kinda useful. It sends 3 mini tornadoes up in the air, and it actually deals decent damage. The hitbox of each tornado is small though, so you might not be able to hit stuff with it. Atomic Fire is next, and it's just like the Mega Buster, except it can charge up to 3 levels. Level 3 is so powerful it can one-hit KO Woodman. Crash Bomb is pretty useless. It sticks to something, waits for a bit, and then explodes. It doesn't do much, but you can use it to get rid of certain walls, and there's a boss that can only be damaged by Crash Bomb. Time Stopper is mostly useless. It stops time for you, but I can't think of many scenarios where that ability is needed. The Lasers of Quick Man stage is the only thing that comes to mind. It also sucks that you can't stop Time Stopper. It'll continue to go until its ammo count reaches 0. And finally, there's Quick Boomerang. It's the second most useful special weapon as it deals decent damage, but the hitbox is small. Its main gimmick is that it's a boomerang, so it hits something and travels back to you. Nothing is really done with this, however, so it feels kinda worthless. Overall, these weapons are kinda cool, but Metal Blade is the only one worth using besides a few special situations. Now that I've gone over the weapons, how about the level design? Well, I'd say the level design ranges from being just as good as the original, or being a bit better. The vanished blocks from Iceman stage return in Heatman stage, and here I understand why people dislike them. In the final section there are a lot of blocks, and that's a lot to memorize. I didn't feel like doing that, especially with a bottomless pit beneath me, so I just used item 2 to skip it. Besides that, I like the vanished blocks. Again, they make for some interesting puzzles. One thing I hated about Metal Man stage was the use of moles. They're little drills that appear either from the floor or from the ceiling, and they're very annoying. You can't see them at all until they're in front of you, meaning you can get blindsided by them, and you've got to tiptoe around them to make sure you don't get hit. It's just not fun. Bubble Man has our first underwater section of the series, and I think it's fine. You're a bit slower and your jump is higher, but there are also insta-kill spikes above you, so you can't jump too high. And, most infamously, Quickman has lasers that show up that insta-kill you. They're pretty fast, so I just use Time Stopper so they're out of my way. Something I forgot to mention in my Mega Man 1 video was the soundtrack. I like it, but there isn't something that really sticks in your brain. Mega Man 2 is different, as there are some pretty catchy tunes. Most famously is the theme for Wily Stages 1 and 2. Meta Man's theme is also pretty good. Airman's theme was even used for the Mega Man 30th anniversary trailer. And finally, we get to the castle stages. And yeah, the same horrible sound from last time plays here as well. Don't worry, I won't play it again. Something I talked about last time was that since the levels are after the main 8, the level designers can utilize the special weapons you've gotten. That didn't really matter back in Mega Man 1, because most weapons didn't have any non-combat utility. That's still mostly true here, as the non-lost weapons get some use, just like Mega Man 1, and the only other weapons I can think of that got used was Crash Bomber and Bubble Lead. But to get to the actual levels, Wily Stage 1 is pretty good. You've got to use item 3 to get over some walls, and then you've got to ascend a tower using ladders and item 1. Then, the boss against the Mega Dragon takes place. It's an auto-scroller and you've got to keep jumping between tiny blocks. Once you get to the end of the blocks, the real fight begins. You just gotta keep spamming Quick Boomerang and he'll die. Wily Stage 2 was also a good one. It starts with you needing to use item 2, and there are 2 paths you can take. Conserve energy and get nothing, or use some more energy and get some weapon refills. This stage also wants you to use Crash Bomber to get rid of some walls so you can access a few extra items. The boss of this stage is Pico Pico-kun. He keeps on regenerating using the blocks the arena is made of, and you have to keep destroying these forms to defeat him. His weakness is Bubble Lead, making this fight a little bit harder. Wily Stage 3 is an underwater stage, and to be honest, I didn't remember much of it. I had to go back through my footage to talk about it. There's some more use of Crash Bomber to get extra items, and there's a part where you fall down a pit and you have to make sure you don't hit the spikes covering the walls. The stage ends with a fight against the Guts tank. Just keep on hitting him with Quick Boomerang. Wily Stage 4 is my favorite. The gimmick of this stage is that you'll fall through the floor, even though the floor looks completely solid. The trick to getting around this is to use Bubble Lead. Remember, Bubble Lead is affected by gravity, so if it has nowhere to stand, it'll fall. You can use this to figure out where it's safe to stand. The boss of this stage is the Boo Beam Trap. It's immune to everything besides Crash Bomber, but you've got to make good use of it. You can only use Crash Bomber 7 times before your ammo is depleted, and there are 5 Boo Beams around the room and 3 breakable walls. That's 8 targets, so you'll have to try to destroy 1 wall and 1 Boo Beam in 1 shot. To be honest, it's pretty fun trying to figure out the most efficient way to get rid of these guys while conserving ammo. Wily Stage 5 isn't much of a stage as it's the boss rush stage. To be honest, I don't like the boss rush stage in any of these games. It just wastes my time as I'm fighting bosses I've already fought with no changes. Well, in X5 and X7 the health bar is the size of the entire screen, but that's about it. Regardless, I don't like the boss rushes at all. Thankfully, in the classic games, the boss rushes are over quickly, especially with these bosses who die to their weaknesses very fast. Yeah, I haven't mentioned this yet, but the bosses haven't gotten any better in between games. They're still very easy when you fight them with their weaknesses. But after the boss rush, you fight the second Wily machine. This Wily machine is pretty easy if you use its weakness, but this machine has two phases. Phase 1 is weak to atomic fire, and you'll probably have the ammo for that, but after the Boo Beam trap, you won't have enough ammo to get rid of Phase 2, which is weak to Crash Bomber, so I just used the Metal Blade. And finally, Wily Stage 6. This stage is very short, it's just a cave with some acid dripping down. You reach the boss room and Wily turns into an alien. He's weak to Bubble Lead, so this fight is a bit harder than the others. After you defeat the alien, it turns out it was just a hologram and Wily reveals himself. He's defeated and he surrenders. After that, Mega Man walks back home. So, overall, I like Mega Man 2. It made some much needed improvements in the first game, while also adding things of its own to make it unique. We've got some more stages, more useful and unique weapons, and stages that are longer and more unique. Mega Man 2 is a good game, and what every sequel should strive to be. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, leave a like. If you want to see more content like this, subscribe. Leave a comment telling me what you thought about this game, maybe another game I could cover, or what I could do better in a future video.